So guys, how's it going? And welcome to the episode number 2 of the Robert Jones story. The Robert Jones, the guy born and brought up in Liverpool, the England youngster playing for Leicester currently. Here he is, scoring a hat-trick in the Champions Cup in the pre-season. Jamie Vardy has left the club and Robert Jones is here to take over. Just 18, Robert Jones, but he is here to do something great. So now is the first day of the Premier League and Robert Jones has been trusted. The youngster Robert Jones has been trusted by the gaffer Brendan Rodgers, and he is gonna be starting here, Robert Jones. Currently, if you look at it, Robert Jones is with in the competition of Kelechi Iheanacho and Slimani. So we'll be seeing what happens. But Robert Jones has got the opportunity early on in his career to do something special out here. He's got the opportunity against Leeds United. Hopefully Robert Jones doesn't disappoint. So until we start off with the game, we'll change the difficulty level. We'll change it to professional here so that we have a bigger option. Professional is what I usually use for my career modes with Barcelona. So it is what it is. So now we're going to be starting here. Robert Jones with Harvey Barnes and Iosi Perez up top. First game of the Premier League at Ellen Road. Well, let's hope that Robert Jones lives up to his potential. So here it is, the first game of the Premier League for Leicester City versus Leeds United at Ellen Road. And Robert Jones has been given the opportunity from set go to lead the line for Leicester City here. He's gonna be the lone man in there, but he wants to be the best man. And here's Robert Jones straight away on the attack, writing it on for Harvey Barnes, who couldn't make a return pass to Robert Jones. But here come Leicester again. Robert Jones is known for his quick movement, Robert Jones, and trying to release Iosi Perez, but a poor decision from Robert Jones in there. He has got a big opportunity. He's got a big point to prove, Robert Jones here. And if he wants to become the best striker in England, the best striker, so he got to do something. He got to play well today. He's got to play well because the gaffer, he's believed in him. Leicester yet haven't signed a striker. But this might well be the season where Robert Jones just evolves into a much better player. No Jamie Vardy for Leicester, but Robert Jones is certainly in there. And here's he again. Robert Jones, excellently done from Robert Jones. He's offside. He's offside there, Iosi Perez. And that's what Robert Jones does. He is not the type of striker that will only score goals. He's well in distribution here. He's done it well with Maddison. And when you have someone like a James Maddison for help, it really becomes easy, doesn't it? So Robert Jones here, coming in deep, giving it to NDD here. And here go Leicester. And score from James Maddison, and Leicester City go ahead. Robert Jones playing a key part in that move, but James Maddison scores his first Premier League goal of the season. Well, Robert Jones has been wanting to score that goal now, but excellent play from Robert Jones in the build-up, showing why he's not only the player that scores goals, he's the one who builds goals. So, yeah, now Leicester, Leeds United, well, Leeds are a team who won't shy off any challenge, and here they are. They've opened up Leicester's defense here, Leeds United have opened up Leicester's defense, and here go Leicester City here. It's with Robert Jones in here. Robert Jones to Maddison, who gives it on for Barnes. Robert Jones just got out of position there, but Robert Jones needs to know that even if he's playing, he's trying to create something, he's got to know that he's Not he has to score goals for the team, so he can't be out of position trying to create something. And here is it is for Christian Fuchs. And here they go. Here go Leicester City here with Harvey Barnes and Robert Jones asking the ball here. Robert Jones! It's a penalty here for Leicester City. Robert Jones nearly hitting the bar. Robert Jones excellently done on his left foot. Fouled. And it's gonna be Iosi Perez gonna take the penalty. Robert Jones is not yet on pens. And it's a goal for Leicester. And Leicester are absolutely cruising here. They are cruising. Robert Jones earned the penalty for his team. Excellently done. And now Leeds look like calamity here. Leeds look like they are panicking. And Robert Jones is at the heart of it again. Robert Jones. Here comes Leicester again. Here is Robert Jones. Trying to play in Harvey Barnes. Here's Robert Jones. Harvey Barnes not able to play. Not able to play in here. Robert Jones asking for the delivery. Getting the ball in. Robert Jones! Had a pop there. Brendan Rodgers is really liking that from Robert Jones. He's not in the penalty area. He'll come in there now. Robert Jones. Meslier. That was rather poor one from Meslier here. And shot from Madison. Doesn't go where he wanted it to. But Robert Jones is having an absolute wonder of a match currently. He's trying to stay online. He's trying to stay not stay offside here, but it is for Harvey Barnes. And Harvey Barnes was offside there. Have to see it again, to be honest. Harvey Barnes is miles offside there. So Robert Jones is still waiting for his first Premier League goal here in a Leicester team that are full of goals. Robert Jones, he hasn't had the best of nights here in terms of goal scoring. He hasn't got many opportunities. Of course, he hit that post, but it was a penalty for the team. It was okay. But for Robert Jones, personally, he hasn't got off the mark in the Prem here. And here come Leeds. Here come Leeds. Great save by Kasper Schmeichel in there, the captain of Leicester. And Robert Jones has not been deployed for defensive duties, Robert Jones. He's been kept ahead in case of a counter attack. So he's not gonna be in here, Robert Jones. He's there on the edge of the box. And Leeds United have scored a goal. Leeds United scored a goal just before halftime. That gives them that hope. And really well here in order to take all the points here. Here's Robert Jones here. He's gonna release it for Cengiz Under. He's gonna release it for Under. Here's Robert Jones again. He's nearly dead on stamina. Here he goes. Robert Jones is open up for him. And he scores his first Premier League goal. Robert Jones. He scored his first ever Premier League goal for Leicester City. Excellent from Robert Jones. And that will seal the game. That will seal the game here. And it's gonna be full time. And Leicester have won it. And Robert Jones in his first game gets the 7.8 match rating. Excellent match rating from him. And Leicester kick off their campaign in a winning fashion. Robert Jones with a goal. Amazingly. And he's enjoying life, Robert Jones here. He's enjoying life in the Premier League. He's already scored. And Leicester are now top of the Premier League. He's already 68 rated. He started off as a 66 rated. And he's already 68 rated. So he's had a great start to his Premier League career here. And the match has been rescheduled against Aston Villa. The date has been changed. But now Robert Jones can also train up a bit. He got to train to become a better player. So he's gonna be training Robert Jones. He got a lot of boosts from all his goals that he scored. He got a lot of boosts from them. So now he's on a better rating. Now he's 68 rated here. Robert Jones, excellent from him. And we're gonna simulate all of that. And Robert Jones, massive boosts for Robert Jones. His rating moves up high. And now Leicester are gonna have their second match. Robert Jones honestly doesn't expect to get picked for this match too. But he has been picked in the starting 11. So let's go. Next match against Burnley. So here it is, guys. The second game against Burnley here. So now it's against Burnley. It's Leicester City against Burnley FC. Robert Jones given a chance again by Brendan Rodgers. He's been playing excellently. He scored a lot of goals. He scored in the last game, Robert Jones. And now here he's got the chance here, Robert Jones. And Iosi Perez has seen Jones. And here goes Jones here. It's just looking too easy for Jones. Jones has a pop. You can say that was a bit selfish from Jones, but there weren't really any options in there for Robert Jones to pick up. So he had to go for what he had to go for. And Burnley are a team that will defend very high, that will defend very deep, I would say. So they will try and defend, and they are a very defensive team. So someone like a Robert Jones, a poacher, is required in this game for Leicester. And that's why Brendan Rodgers has picked him. And here it is for Yuri Tielemans. And here go Leicester here. Robert Jones is slightly off position there. And Robert Jones was quite out of position in there. Burnley have signed a centre-back. That's amazing. And Robert Jones in the thick of things here. It's fallen out in there for a Burnley player. Robert Jones, in that chance, Robert Jones was quite out of position in there. That disabled him to go for a diving header. And instead it was a corner. But here come Burnley. And Burnley has started on the front foot here. And Leicester on the back foot. Johnny Evans, our experienced centre-back, does really well here. And it's becoming vice versa. Burnley are dominating Leicester here. We expected something else, but it is what it is. And here go Leicester here. Now, Leicester City. This is where Leicester are gonna be tested here. This is where they're gonna be tested. Here's Robert Jones. Robert Jones taken, muscled off the ball by the Burnley midfielder. And here come Burnley. Burnley are in behind here with Chris Wood. Great save. And it's in, and Burnley have scored against Leicester. And Leicester City go behind to Burnley here. And it's been a terrible first 20-25 minutes for Leicester. They haven't had much of the ball here. And they have had to suffer. And here go Leicester here. Oh, that's a great ball played in. Harvey Barnes couldn't get there. But Leicester, they're trying to do something here, but it's just not happening for Leicester, it seems. And Robert Jones is a sufferer for that. He's not having enough touches on the ball, and that's disabling him to have any real chance. And Burnley again on the attack here. Here's Jay Rodriguez. Kasper Schmeichel does really well in there. And Kasper Schmeichel trying to waste a bit of time. Robert Jones heading it back and given away from Iosi Perez, if I'm not wrong. Leicester need to buy a winger or play Maddison in a bit of an advanced role, because James Maddison, he's not really cutting it in there here. He's not having his creative spark that he should have on this Leicester team. And having James Maddison in the team, you can't really ask for more. And here go Leicester here. Here go Leicester. Iosi Perez. Hopefully he's onside here. Perez has a pop, and Perez didn't give the ball to Jones, but it's a goal from Harvey Barnes there. Robert Jones was expecting the ball to come to him from Perez, but Perez didn't give him. Is it a bit of a ego issue? I don't know, but it is what it is. And Robert Jones, Leicester get the lead here, get the draw, level the proceedings, and it's nothing less than what we expected. Leicester can't lose on home to Burnley. Robert Jones pretty high on the press here, but Burnley have gotten through Leicester's press. And here come Burnley again. And Burnley have been absolutely amazing here in this game. Kasper Schmeichel is not happy, but Burnley have been excellent here. A big shout out to Burnley, to be honest. This is an amazing performance that they've put in here. They're just containing Leicester, And here IOC Perez here. Oh, that's wonderfully played in from Perez. Here is Robert Jones. Oh no, Robert Jones has messed up a golden opportunity there, Robert Jones. He's messed that one up. He has messed that one up big. And here come Burnley. Thankfully, great defending from Johnny Evans in there. But Robert Jones is holding his head there. He should have really scored in there. That was a very good opportunity. Nicely made up from IOC Perez. That was a wonderful opportunity. And Robert Jones should have made gold of it. He didn't. And here come Burnley. And Burnley are now starting to get into the head here. They really are. And oh, that's great defending here. And here come Leicester. And Harvey Barnes, I don't know why Harvey Barnes is going so back. And here's, oh, Robert Jones has turned him. Robert Jones has turned Tarkowski. Here's Jones. Jones! Scuffed it, Robert Jones. And Brendan Rodgers looks unhappy. Was there a touch from Tarkowski? No, there wasn't. Robert Jones has cuffed up. The pressure is getting to him. After all, he's just 18 years old, Robert Jones. Of course, the pressure is going to get to him. And it's gotten to him now. And here's Robert Jones here. Here's Robert Jones trying to play in Tielemans. Doesn't go there. But Robert Jones, the pressure is really getting to him here. Because he has been a bit awful one try. Robert Jones. Oh, excellent touch from Jones. And again, giving the ball away there, Robert Jones. And now, here come Burnley here. And here come Burnley. And Burnley have left Leicester back here. But Leicester are out defending. And oh, Robert Jones. Robert Jones has gotten in on Ben Mee here. And Ben Mee defends that well. Ben Mee defends that well. And Robert Jones again. It isn't a Robert Jones sort of game here. He hasn't been playing well. But of course, there will be a game where he'll play well, to be honest. Oh, here it is. Released up for Goodmanson. And Burnley take the lead against Leicester City. And Leicester look helpless here. Robert Jones looks helpless. He doesn't know what to do here. And his missed opportunities are gonna come back to haunt them here. It's gonna come back to haunt them. And he just can't get the ball here, Robert Jones. He just can't get the ball out here. Leicester are struggling. Leicester are struggling big time. And here come Leicester here. Have to do something out here somehow. But to do something somehow here. And here's Robert Jones here. Accelerating. Here's Robert Jones. Robert Jones scores for Leicester City. And that won't be the celebration we're doing. Robert Jones takes the ball and runs away to the halfway line here. Come on, let's not waste time. And maybe. That's the end here. And Leicester, that's the end of the match here. Is that? Yeah, that is. And Robert Jones missing opportunities, missing chances. And, well, it leads to Leicester not winning the game here. Very, very, very average performance from Robert Jones. He gets a better match rating, but it wasn't the best of performances. It really wasn't the best of performances here. So I don't know whether Brendan Rodgers would pick Robert Jones after that performance, because it wasn't a very, very, very good performance. But Jones, still, he's a good player. He would want to come back in. He would want to tell the world that he's good enough. So now we're going to be playing the next game, but I highly doubt that whether Brendan Rodgers is going to pick Robert Jones or not. So we'll see what Brendan Rodgers does. And yeah, let's move on to the next game. With his amazing performances, Robert Jones has been picked in the team of the week for the Premier League. And he is now alongside in the team of the week alongside players like Kevin De Bruyne and Adama Traore. And he's been again picked for this match against Aston Villa. And yeah, we'll be moving this match up. This might well be the last match of the campaign of the episode now. Robert Jones. I didn't expect Robert Jones to be playing so many matches, if I'm completely honest. I expected Robert Jones to play a few matches here and there, but with the kind of performances he's been putting up off late, Robert Jones, he deserves to get picked here. And here he is. He is the man to look up to. Robert Jones, 5 goals in his last 3 matches. He is the man to reckon with, Robert Jones. And he's been the man to reckon with for Leicester City for the past few games now. And Leicester, even though they were a bit iffy against Burnley, that match, probably Robert Jones should have sealed that match. And he's pressing high here, Robert Jones. Doesn't yield in anything. And here go Leicester here. Robert Jones. Robert Jones just taking that touch. The Dutch just took it away from him. Here comes Robert Jones. He's running through the Aston Villa defense. Robert Jones nearly did it, but Shangus Under is playing excellently too. Robert Jones starting the match off with an excellent run here. Robert Jones. Oh, straight at Emi Martinez. Emi Martinez is going to be a tough customer to play against here, because Emi Martinez is a very good player. Former Arsenal player, of course. And Robert Jones is seen Iosi Perez, who has hit the post but is offside. Robert Jones nearly picked out the perfect ball in there, but Iosi Perez was caught offside. Here come Leicester. Here go Leicester here. He's Yuri Tielemans. What's he trying to do here? Who's that? And what's he trying to do? Player to watch, Robert Jones. Everyone's talking about Robert Jones currently, because in the kind of form he is, well, you expect everybody to talk about him. You really do expect everybody to talk about Robert Jones here, with the kind of form he's in. And we'll see what happens with Robert Jones. He's asking for the ball here from Wilfred Ndidi. Now he gets to the ball here, Robert Jones. He's trying to yield off players here. It's up to James Maddison. James Maddison couldn't return it up. And Robert Jones, and it's a foul given there, Robert Jones. And it isn't the sort of Robert Jones game currently. It isn't the Robert Jones sort of game. So we'll see what happens. And Leicester and Aston Villa and Leicester. And now here go Leicester, and yeah. Guys, actually I'm running out of time here because I've started recording late, so it's running out of time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump to result and hope we do something. We don't do anything, and Robert Jones eventually gets subbed off. Poor game for Robert Jones, but yeah, he gets subbed off, never mind. But he's still in excellent form, Robert Jones. Look at that form, that's still excellent. And I would like to end the episode here. So if you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, so you don't miss out on this wonderful journey of Robert Jones. So now, I'll see you later. Till then, bye bye.